call him Rebecca Knighton because
I
who
didn't
can
mean to raise
guess?
my hand to answer the question. I was raising my hand from the Who Likes Game of
I
Thrones.
know, and I was giving you a hard time. That was my fault. That was my fault. So who could guess what this picture is telling us? What story is this picture telling, I should say? Well, maybe, I just came from a presentation, so maybe it's not as obvious to everyone as it is to me.
Is it how much you don't have to have that big stack of books, you can just use a computer, like the amount of work?
Yes. Yep. Yep. That's it. So this is called Monarch, and it is a Braille tablet. I think I'm missing one word, but that's the basic idea. This is a Braille tablet, and it just was developed in this form. They've been working on it for a while, but the prototype is finally ready for wide distribution. And it is able to show images like graphs on the Brailler. It is able to use different apps on it. It is able, so all of these, this stack over here, this is the Braille printout of a single algebra book. This whole stack, one book. She can hold all of her books in this one tablet and take it with her home, use it at school. So it's a pretty amazing success when it comes to visually impaired blind students. So A, I wanted to share a little delight, but B, I wanted to show the power of a story. This one is much, much harder. I don't think you could guess it. Otherwise, I would ask you to. But I wanted to come up with an image that shared my delight when I think it was when we first had you register that you did this, not the post event survey. So when you registered, we asked if you are new to SPDIG, would you like a mentor? How many people do you think raised their hand to have a mentor of these numbers?
5.
Yep, 5 people. So we still were taking more because 25 people said that they would be a mentor to new folks. And these are some of the busiest people I know. Like in terms of, I really doubt that they sleep. I think maybe they've been cloned, but they still raise their hand to mentor somebody. And so I think it's a delightful story. It's a success story. And it's a story that I was able to share in this image thanks to AI. I used to have a real hard time creating images, and now AI is helping me to do that. All right. So thank you for looking at those stories with me. I think they'll probably stick with you, and that's the beauty of a story and having a concrete representation. So we're going to take a minute to reflect on the national meeting, and then I'm going to turn it over to Bill Hennekins, who oversees multiple TA centers and specifically SID. He is the project director for. He'll tell you a little bit more about that. And then we're going to have our fear of missing out breakouts, FOMO breakouts. We'll have first a poster session and then the forum presentations repeated. This is because not everyone got to see the breakouts the first time, and that definitely includes me as I was furloughed. So this was the meeting, the SPDIG National Meeting, which we held virtually. We wanted to increase increase network connections, build communication and dissemination skills, and we did that to increase impact and scale. We wanted deep, thoughtful, strategic SPDIG efforts and some motivation for that. And then the learning targets, we wanted you to have at least one person you'd engage with out to the conference, at least one dissemination goal, and then an inspirational thing or a strategy you'd try or a resource you'd use. And then these were the 3 learning strands: implementing your project successfully, which I called responding, not reacting, managing your project, and furthering dissemination so you can recruit, scale, and affect more lives. So post-event, we did not have as many post-event responses as we have in the past. So we're working from 29 responses here, but dissemination so discussions, which was the 15% solutions, 79% were satisfied or very satisfied. 90% were satisfied or very satisfied with the forum presentations. Then posters, 76% were satisfied or very satisfied. And then the implementation discussions, 86%. And then overall, in summary, the core sessions were highly valued with particularly strong appreciation for the keynotes and the forum presentations. And so Eliana's keynote and Johanna's keynote, people loved them, which was not a surprise to us, but happy to hear it. So for content and alignment with SPDIG work, folks appreciated the dissemination planning tools and opportunities to apply them with state teams, focus on real challenges and practical strategies. And then for opportunities to learn from other states, it was helpful to hear what other SPIGs are doing, like bright spots, challenges, innovations. And people felt welcome and they heard others' frustrations and ideas how to address them. So for networking, help people to come together. One person said it was their favorite virtual conference of all time, which is wonderful to hear. Facilitation and structure, people really appreciated John's facilitation, the overall tone, the music, and alignment of sessions. And then they liked having the agenda with links in advance, as well as dedicated state team time. So now we want to hear from you. Since we only had 29 people respond, perhaps you didn't get a chance to respond already. Plus, this way everyone gets to see your responses. So considering, what have you used from the meeting? Did you reach out to anyone as a result of the meeting? And what action did you take or what action did you take or do you plan to take? So choose one of these questions and please add your response to the chat. We'll give you a minute to do that.
As they're doing that, Jennifer, let me jump in and say that I was a little too quick and I put in the poll question already. So people can ignore that.
Okay.
Add the one response to your 3 items. What have you used from the meeting? Did you reach out to anyone? What action did you take or do you plan to take? They can do that now. And then we'll move on to the other
Great.
question in her in a minute.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for being thoughtful. And there's still time to do so. But now we want to turn to next steps for SIG Network, for the SPDIG project officers, for OSEP. So when we think of optimizing dissemination, developing partnerships, and showing impact, what do you want to know or practice doing with us related to these themes? And when it comes to sustaining or scaling your work, what else do you need to know? So this is, you went to the national meeting, you learned something, connected with someone. That was what the previous question was. Now, where do we take it from here? How can we support you? So that's the next question for the chat. And we'll use your chat responses to plan the coming year's directors webinars and other opportunities. Okay. I see one question that is Bill might appreciate seeing a data dashboard. How can folks get started on that? Great. Thank you so much, everyone. You can continue to add here, or you can email myself or John, signetwork@uoregon.edu, myself, jennifer.coffey@ed.gov. We have office hours tomorrow, so we can also talk about it some tomorrow. You should have it on your calendar. If you don't, please do add your email, or you might want to just email myself or John at this point because the chat, we might miss it. But I want to introduce Bill Hennikins. Bill has joined us. As I said, he oversees multiple OSAP projects, but he also has the CID. He's the project director for CID, Center for IDEA Data Integration. Am I saying that correctly? I don't have my notes in front of me.
Close. Center for Integration of IDA Data.
Thank you. So close. Now I have my notes in front of me. And Bill has joined us to talk about data, and it was so nice to see that that was a need, so he can start talking with us about that. And he's not going anywhere, so to speak, and he'll even be in DC next week. And so if there are further needs that that we can work together with him and collaborate, I think we can do that. So Bill, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to present to you and, address any quick questions in the little bit of time we have. So I believe I've got my slides up and shared now,
Yep,
and I have provided
perfect.
these slides to John and Jennifer so they can share them with you. Want to, in our work at AAM Corporation as the grantee for the Center for Integration of IDA Data, the Rhonda Weiss Center for Accessible IDA Data, and then we've got teammates, colleagues we're partners on IDC, DAISY, and CEO, the whole kind of alphabet soup, if you will, of OSAP data centers and the work that they do. Kind of bring to you a little bit of a framework here for you to think about data and areas where there could be support or collaboration with different efforts. So just a way to kind of think about data and maybe help you move some things forward with data work. So first of all, why does data matter? And I really love that Jennifer talked about telling stories, because data can help you tell a clear story. Jennifer used some data, then she used numbers. Data can help us demonstrate the impact of the work that we do. Data, can help us continually improve our work, to continually get better and do it in a more efficient and effective way. So really kind of globally, in the profession of data management governance, why it matters. These are commonly kind of used terms, ideas, and thinking that I think, given the work and the kind of tangential connections and some staff that I have on the team that done SPDIG work. So hopefully that kind of resonates. So quickly, a framework that we have used. CID now is in its 12th year of work, and these intertwined dimensions of people, process, and systems. So people, kind of the roles, the individuals, and what they do across agencies related to data work. So process, we'll talk about data governance, its workflows, its documentations. It's a series of rules that decisions are made on. And then systems, the technology, right? Where the actual data is, the interface you use, right? Standards, integration. These are three considerations or three dimensions for thinking about doing data work and how you could maybe insert or engage in data work related to people, processes, and systems. So people. So it's about roles and capacity for doing SPDIG work. Think about who touches SPDIG data. A project director does, coordinators, certainly other SEA staff, Part B data manager maybe touches some of that data. In many state education agencies, there's data offices. Your statewide longitudinal data system team certainly touches data. LEA folks, faculty at institutes of higher education, parent center staff. These are all individuals who may touch data and have different roles in the data. And some of the common kind of challenges with so many people touching it is a lot of people will say, well, no, yeah, even though I may touch it, data is not my job. It's somebody else's job. That's a lot of times the mindset that can create a challenge. There's a lot of, you all in doing your work in state education agencies, and I know this from my work when I was in Washington. I'm coming to you from Olympia, Washington. I worked at the SEA here before joining AEM. You have limited time, right? You have more on your plates than you have time to do. So doing data work sometimes doesn't kind of make it on the priority list. And oftentimes there's skill gaps in terms of the capacity at the program level to do the different work. Turnover, we know that through our work on the data centers, turnover of key staff, of contractors that you may work with, is definitely a challenge to the people that do the data system work. So where are there opportunities for those who are doing SPDIG work? Clear role definitions. Who are the data stewards? Who are the data owners? Who are the data users? Targeted professional development on data literacy. And how program staff can use data. Those are definitely opportunities where different data centers or, us at AEM could definitely help you all out. So looking at processes, it's really all about data governance. And data governance is the management of data, ensuring that it's the right data is available, that the data is usable for what you intend to the story you intend to tell, if you will, or the reporting that you're doing. It has to be the right data for that particular use, that the data has integrity, that it's quality data, that you're doing security correctly. There are certain requirements under IDEA related to data. So it's all about how decisions are made related to data to ensure that those things are met. So governance is really how decisions are made about data. So it's the groups, the committees that establish a flow and policies related to data. So where are there opportunities in the SPDIG world for this? Clarify who decides what's collected, how it's defined, and how it's shared, right? That's a process that you as doing SPDIG work can define. Align governance with existing SEA or SLDS structures where possible. So most likely, whether it's formal or informal, there is some kind of governance happening in your agency related to data. SLDS, the Statewide Longitudinal Data System Program, I spent a lot of time over like a 15-year period supporting states in doing governance. And so a lot of times there is really a formal structure, and that's an opportunity for you to engage in that work and that structure. All right, so another way to engage is in the data management lifecycle. So again, whether it's formal or informal, from planning to the end, acting and refining, this is happening in your agency, right? Someone is planning to identify indicators, KPIs, data use, right? So they define how they're going to address that data use. The data is collected or it's integrated. Then it's put into it's stored, it's put into some kind of a system, right? Then whether it's Microsoft Power BI or Tableau or something is done to analyze and report with a dashboard with that data. And then, you kind of do a life cycle, if you will, right? Then you refine and you act upon that data to inform your process. So, you have the opportunity to engage colleagues in this data management life cycle. It's happening somewhere. And oftentimes with a program, it's best to like insert yourself into that or to leverage staff that are doing this kind of work in your agency because somebody is. It's happening somewhere. Okay, so systems. So I'm going to talk about two different kind of efforts that are happening that are department funded or funded, by the Department of Education in one way or another. And the first is the Statewide Longitudinal Data System Program. So for 15 plus years, grants have gone out to states, and every state at this point in time has, at some point in time in the history of the grant program, received some kind of grant to do P20W longitudinal data system work. So P20W, so early learning to K-12 to post-secondary and workforce, to do some kind of data work based on the different priorities and the different grant cycles to do that kind of work. So for SPDIG, you can leverage your SLDS possibly, right? It could be a source of longitudinal data on results, on outcomes. You could link educator credential information and assignment related to student outcomes, right? These are questions that you can ask. So the opportunities that, I see from my work related to SLDS is, mapping potential KPIs to existing SLDS data that may or may not exist in your agency, but, it's an opportunity to ask. It's an opportunity to engage. It could be that you possibly build a data mart off of some SLDS work. There was a question about doing a dashboard. Well, you would need the data collected into a spot to do the dashboard, and your SLDS project may be a way to do that. So the other existing effort that you could leverage is the Common Education Data Standards. This is, again, a department-supported effort. This one's like 16, 17 years old. I was working with it when I was in the state education agency here. And what CEDS is a common vocabulary of education data elements. It's a data model that's implemented right now in 20 plus states. And it defines P20W relationships. It defines, so for example, a person can be an early learning student being served in an early learning environment, to a teacher, to an adult that's a parent. So it defines relationships among people, processes, and systems, if you will, related to the data that's being collected. So there are tools in CEDS, and you can go to ceds.ed.gov, and it's open and freely available to anyone. And you can look at tools like CEDS Align, CEDS Connect. Align helps individuals do mapping of their data. It's like a data dictionary, and Connect is a way to help define data calculations or KPIs, data uses, those kinds of things. So CEDS provides an opportunity to do integration with an SLDS or other SEA systems, do comparability when you have common definitions for elements and option sets. You can compare across LEAs or partners in better ways, and reuse, because it's shared and open source, reuse what others are doing with perhaps reports or different types of, a data mart, perhaps, those kinds of things. So CEDS is an opportunity for some collaboration. So finally here, it's often helpful in doing this kind of work to think about, where am I at? Where in my SPDIG work in terms of doing data efforts, where am I at in terms of people, process, and system? And a maturity model is a good way to get an understanding of this. So based on some broader work that we do, some, much more sophisticated maturity models, I pulled together kind of a very simple way of looking at and thinking about where you're at and where you may want to focus by addressing some specific kind of considerations, whether you're emerging, developing, or sustaining data work related to your SPDIG efforts. So with that, I'm pretty close on time, and my contact information, and as I said, these slides have been provided to Jennifer and John, and whether it's part of SID or any of my colleagues that work on IDC, DAISY, or other efforts, happy to engage you and support in any data work that you're doing as part of your SPDIG efforts. So Jennifer, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Does anyone have any questions for Bill? Does anyone remember when we had the SLDS team come and speak with us? It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was Carla Howe, my colleague.
Yes. Yeah.
Did a
It was great. And I like it that you're continuing our thinking about it, especially since people are interested in data dashboards. And some folks have already started, some SPDIGs have already started them.
Nice.
So, yeah. Well, Bill, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for using the time so well. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
That's great. Great ideas. All right. So I want to say, I had said this via email, and I want to say it again now that we are going to be talking about the national meeting a bit more, is that thank you to John Lind for working with me and then by himself and then with help from various folks in SIG Network, but for pulling off the virtual meeting. I know it was not without its stresses. Taking the reins over from me, I just kind of dumped everything I could on him, and then he had to make everything happen. So just a round of applause for John again.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's very nice to hear. But really, the applause should be shared with the whole group. While a lot of preparation goes into the background and pulling it off and making it happen, it's really the group who shows up and participates that makes it meaningful. So thank you,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice because I did not have to worry. I was not worried about the conference in any way, shape, or form. Um, everyone's, I think the easiest way to say it is everyone has each other's back in this group, right? Like that you're gonna make it work. And everyone who works in education and in, the state systems of education all the way down to the school building level or the early childhood program, people know how to figure things out and make things work. It's what you do. And so this was another example of it. I really appreciate it. It was nice to see with the survey responses, the post-grad survey responses, that people felt like they had a chance to network, that they got a lot out of it despite it being virtual, despite the context it was occurring within. So thank you all. So I also want to thank our presenters today. So the first session we're going to have are the poster breakouts. And then you all are going to come back to this main room, and then you're going to go into a forum session. Now, these are the sessions. You had the agenda sent out to you. So hopefully you had a chance to take a look at it, but the names will also pop up and you'll get to choose from them. And so you will choose the poster presentation you're going to go into. The poster presentation's informal. You're going to hear a little bit about the poster, maybe how they even created it. No, folks are always interested in those kinds of processes to figure it out themselves. And then you'll be able to ask questions and talk. It's interactive, it's informal. So that will go on until 3:50 Eastern, so 10 minutes before the hour. And then from there, you'll have transition time back into the main room, and then you'll choose your forum breakout session, and you'll have about 20 minutes presentation, 10 minutes of question and answer. It can be mixed up, but that will go till 4:30, and you will not come back to the main room from there. You will just go on for the rest of your afternoon and have a great day, hopefully. John, do you want to say anything else about how they select their breakout rooms?
No, I don't think so. You all can self-select into your breakout rooms. Those have been open now. I just set an alarm to remind myself to close them. So at 3:50, we'll come back and regroup and then go out to our next session. If you have trouble selecting, go ahead and unmute and let me know, and I can put you into whichever group you decide. So with that, I'll let you go to it.
Oh, thanks, John, for adding the agenda to the chat. Right, so John, that worked very smoothly. Hopefully it did for everyone else. And so we'll do the same thing, right? Everyone gets to choose which room they're going to.
That's exactly right. So I've got in this case, it's 4 options. We've got getting early learners up for literacy success from implementation to sustainability, SPDIG financial management and sustainability, fostering innovation, Colorado partnerships with universities, and utilizing implementation for IMTSS. So I guess the only difference with this session, Jennifer, is this will be my last chance to thank everybody for attending today, and that I look forward to seeing people on January 8th because the first Thursday of the month for the director's webinar for January is January 1st. So we are postponing that. People should get the invitation for that shortly for the January 8th.
And yeah, and if folks are interested in knowing the topic, we are going to learn from the New Jersey SPDIG about how they're collaborating with the Comprehensive Literacy State Development, also known as CLSD initiative in their state. Some of you have a CLSD right now, or you've had one in the past. You will be able to generalize the lessons for any big state initiative, right? That's the big idea, because we have a lot of knowledge about coaching, evidence-based practices, what effective learning looks like, and we think that we have something to pass on to help children with disabilities to CLSD and other initiatives. So we look forward to learning from New Jersey and seeing you. Thank you, presenters, today, and we'll go out to our breakouts.
All right, I've got them all open. Of course, you can self-select into which room you'd like to be in. And if I don't have a chance to speak to any of you before, have happy holidays and a good start to the new year.
Thank you. This was beneficial.
Great. I'd like to hear it. And welcome.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Good to see you. Okay. See you later, John. Thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer.
See you soon.
Bye.